Big Mama, aka Mara, or the Queen. That's what my sisters call me. This is our podcast, Keeping It Real While We Heal. And today we'll be talking about human trafficking and teen dating violence. I am joined with.
I'm Jayla, and I've been at Gwen's Girls for about 3 years now.
I'm Kennedy, and I've been at Gwen's Girls since sixth grade.
I'm Jasmine, and I've been at Gwen's Girls since I was 8 years old.
I'm Tabby, and I've been at Gwen's Girls for about 3 months.
I'm Miss Donisha, and I am a Gwen's Girls mentor.
My name is Tawana Clark Edgar. They say Gigi for life. I've been at Gwen's Girls for quite a bit of time in various roles, but now I am supporting the young ladies that you see on this Zoom call with communication and public speaking.
I am Miss Eminesia, and I had the luxury of being a Gwen's Girl, and now I work for Gwen's Girls as a program assistant.
Yeah, that's the team. Now, like I said, my name is Myra. I've been at Gwen's Girls for 3 years, and I'm an emerging leader. I want to explain what teen dating violence is and what human trafficking is. So, teen dating violence, I'm going to explain it in young terms. It's basically how when you're in a relationship with somebody, whether it be a man or a girl or a boy, and that person is emotionally or physically abusing you. Now, you might be like, oh, well, what's emotional abuse? Somebody belittling you, somebody talking down on you. In a relationship, we're supposed to be uplifting the other. You're supposed to give and receive. If somebody's talking down on you and belittling you, how are you gaining anything? You know, that's it. And then human trafficking is the exploitation of not necessarily younger people, because older people can be human trafficked as well, but it's the exploitation through force, fraud, or coercion of for labor or sex. And it actually happens a lot in Pittsburgh. It's actually not talked about enough, simply because it's not an issue that's brought up. So that's why we use this month to bring awareness for the issue. Right?
Right. Excellent.
So first, I want to ask a tip for both the adults and the youth. So for the adults, what do you think? What tips would you give younger people to where we wouldn't end up in these situations? And then as teens, what tips would we give other teens so they wouldn't end up in a situation? So I'll go first. My tip would be watch who you're talking to on the other end, because we be on these social media platforms and we talk to a lot of people throughout the day, and a lot of times we don't know who it is. So making sure you know who you're talking to on the other end is also very helpful, so that you don't end up in these situations.
Absolutely. And if I were to speak to the adults, is that what you want us to do, Myra? We
Mhm.
said adults. If I were going to speak to the adults, I think the thing that I would say is to listen non-judgmentally. So when our young people come to us, listen to what they have to say and try to remove any reaction or any barrier that would prevent them from wanting to speak or communicate with us.
Tips for?
What's
So
a tip that you would give a teen to not end up in a situation to be trafficked, or even if you want to give a tip on teen dating violence?
Well, I would suggest paying attention to your surroundings, especially like when you're in public, like around, like even in your own neighborhood, and watch who you talk to.
Yeah, to piggyback
That's
off of that, just like don't speak to strangers. Stranger danger, guys.
right. Okay. So let's elaborate on that a little bit. So you said, and Jasmine, I think that's great. You said don't watch who you talk to, don't speak to strangers. So let's just say this very nice person comes up to you and they say, hey, look, I'm a little bit lost. Can you tell me where the nearest hotel is? What do you do in those situations?
Tell them to get somebody else.
Walk
What-
away.
Real.
Walk away. Okay. All right, let's role play this a little bit. Okay.
But like it depends though.
Okay.
It depends on the
Because a lot
person.
of the time, I do. If you ask me where to go, I do tend to tell you.
And you can tell if they're up to like some sneaky stuff. So
So
wow.
basically,
can
so
tell
a teen tip that I would add would be to listen to your gut.
Mhm.
Make sure
Got it.
you know that, make sure you follow your first instinct you know, because that's typically like your first nature. So it's going to be your first response, you know, to anything. Or the minute that you get a hint of danger, you know, you should get out of there immediately, vacate the premises.
Especially as Black girls, our intuition is very powerful. We know what we be feeling. We know what we're doing. We know the feeling. We know when something's going wrong. So when you get that feeling, really trust yourself and be like, nah, I'm not feeling that.
One of the things that you guys do that I think is really great too is if you're in a situation when you're walking home or you're not feeling safe or something doesn't look right, you will reach out. You'll FaceTime a friend, you'll FaceTime an adult, and you'll say, hey, look, I'm uncomfortable. Can you talk to me until I get home? So I think that is a great strategy that you're using.
Even when we're in the store and like we'll lose the other person. If you ever hear Marco Polo, that's me and my sisters because we be in CVS, we'll be in Target, and we'll say Marco Polo, and we will.
You'll find each other like that.
That's a really good way to do it as well.
Extremely smart, bro. I'm about to start doing that.
Yeah, that's what see. I'm sorry. Why do some teens hesitate to tell their parents about like the unsafe situations that they're in or that they encounter?
Okay, so like teens might feel like their parents will scold them about it or make them feel like, oh, we should have done this different or that, or they'll be scared that they're going to get in trouble because sometimes parents don't understand that teens sometimes they just don't understand other things, and we just need to talk to an adult like, hey, if something's happening, you're the adult, you're wiser, you've been around more, so whenever we go to talk to them, we don't want to get scolded or in trouble because we're going to somebody we could trust.
I do also feel like, especially with like, I'll say older parents, because I don't think young parents really be acting, usually be the older parents, but they to overreact a lot. Like they'll hear something and they go the fullest extent when they hear it. So it make you not even want to tell them anything. Like my nana is very dramatic. I don't want to tell her nothing because she's screaming Bloody Mary. She acts like there's so much going on, and it'd be like it's not really that deep. So when I face bigger issues, that tends to not be the person that I call because I know how she's going to react to a certain situation.
That's good feedback.
I would like to add on as well. Some teens may feel like their parents aren't going to listen to them, or they may gaslight them. You know, because a lot of parents, let's say, like I recall maybe whenever I was a teenager, I was coming up, I was telling my parents about like a lot of mental issues that I was going through around the time. And my stepmother kind of wrote it off like, you know, okay, well, I've been depressed too. Get that work done, get that school work done. But I'm going through real life human emotions and real life human things. And this is this is a particular time where I need your best interest. I need you to guide me. And it just feels like you're putting the onus to the side. Like you're just putting the onus on someone else. Like, you know, so that's also why I believe teenagers don't feel comfortable with telling their parents.
Especially because a lot of older Black parents, they don't believe in therapy or like getting mental help. So like you really have to deal with that on your own instead of like getting the help that you actually deserve a lot of the time. If that makes
Right. Yeah.
Also,
And
the fear of your parents telling your business and
Yes.
telling, you know, what's going on with you, wanting it to be confidential between you and your parent, because it's hard enough even being able to open up to your parent. So the fact that the fear of, you know, someone else knowing your business or multiple people knowing your business could also, you know, yield you from being open and honest with your parents.
A lot of
It's not
parents also think that we got it. Oh, sorry, Mara.
Oh
No.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah, my
A
bad.
lot of parents think that we got it easier than them too,
Mhm. It'd be jealousy. No shade. Like not
right? But like back in my days, we had to deal with this, that, and the third.
but this is not your
So you think that there is a disconnect, that parents don't understand it
Yeah.
from your perspective and what you're going through nowadays, right?
I
Definitely.
feel like that's very valid.
Mhm.
One thing that I usually say is a lot of parents these days forget that they were also a teen at once.
Yeah.
At one point in time, they were also, you know, those that made the mistakes, those that made choices that they shouldn't have, and they did not care what anybody else thought about their choices. So just being open-minded is one thing that, you know, could benefit.
Yeah. Like they compare their old problems back in what, like
Okay.
200 BC, compare our problems to 2025.
Oh, wow.
Different.
Well, somebody who was
But,
who was back there in the BC era, according to you guys. What I will say is there are some similarities. I think what the differences are now is that you guys have technology in a way that we didn't have it then. But there are some similarities. I think that what people, I think you're talking about my demographic maybe, but people in my demographic need to remember is that there are some differences. And what we want to do is we want to listen to you non-judgmentally so that you do have a space to come and understand that we will support you and we will help you. Sometimes there is an initial shock though, right? But after that initial shock is over, we really want to be in a space where we give you the support that you need.
Tabby, I got a question for you. What are some warning signs that a teen may be experiencing danger but is afraid to tell their parents?
I feel like some warning signs would be lashing out a lot. I know this is a point Myra made, but like when a child lashes out, a lot of people or parents would think, oh, like, especially if it's a girl, oh, like she's on her period or like it's puberty. This is just what teens do. But no, usually there's a reason for that that's much bigger than just being puberty. And I think also if the teen is much quieter and less interactive, that could also be a sign.
I think especially with like this like angry black girl mantra and like we're already being painted as these angry girls and these angry women. So when people look at us and see us lashing out or acting a certain kind of way, their first thought isn't of maybe something had happened to her. It's oh, she's just being the angry black girl or she's just mad for no reason. Nobody really takes into account like what could be going on behind closed doors. And I
Like she's just fitting into that black girl criteria.
yes, like, that's the societal problem. Like you'll see something on social media, especially social media, because social media plays a big part in why we're also painted this way. You'll see a black girl lashing out. You'll see a 5, 6, 7 second clip of a black girl just speaking her mind or lashing out, and people's first thought is, "Oh, her mom need to get her under control. Where's her parents? Know who I'm training." But it's not. Oh, what made her act like this? What made her get to this point? What pushed her to do that?
Who broke her heart?
Yes, who broke her? And that's another thing as well. Like as black women, we're supposed to just be getting broken, and nobody fixes us up. We're supposed to fix ourselves, and then supposed to help others and fix others. But it's like, how could we do that? And we haven't even taken care of ourselves, or y'all haven't even acknowledged that we needed to take care of ourselves.
That's real, Myra. Thank you for saying that.
I also wanted to kind of add on to how social media takes things out of context a lot. So that's the reason why, you also need to be careful as a teenager on social media so you can know what information to believe and what information you should take, with a grain of salt, because a lot of things, fear can be false evidence appearing real. So, and that's what they do. That's what they mostly like. They want to fear monger people. So a lot of people will throw out all types of things on social media. And like I said, it gets taken out of context, especially like whenever it's a short clip from like a full video. Like let's say you only see 1 minute of the video and there's like 10 minutes in total of the video. It's very easy to get taken out of context, and it's very easy for people to manipulate the situation and come in and add their opinions and thoughts and things. So like that's why a lot of girls suffer from cyberbullying. So
And I think that kind of ties into my next question. Like, what role do y'all think that peer pressure and like social expectations and social media expectations play in a teenager's decision to like be quiet about what's going on?
social media holds a lot of influence. Oh,
And I also think like it be the people that you're around too. Like if you see your friend, if you see something going on with your friend, or you see your friend doing something, you're not going to think that it's wrong because your friends are doing it. Or even if you do see that it's wrong, your friends is doing this, so it's like, what's the problem? Like,
The people you associate with have a huge impact on how you act and how you are in general,
and it
Birds
has
of a feather flock together.
right?
Kennedy, can you speak on that a little bit more?
As somebody who sees like my friends do something wrong, I would tell them don't do that, or I want to even like associate myself with what they're doing. I would just walk away, and then that's their fault if they get in trouble. But I would still like try to get into their head and be like, don't do that, knowing that you're gonna get in trouble or and get hurt.
Don't be scared to cut people off if they're a bad influence to you.
Jayla, that's huge. And I
Mhm.
think that that ties into when we talk about cutting people off because they're a bad influence. That's our female friends. That's male friends that we may have if we're dating someone and they're not healthy. You know, we have to be okay with saying this doesn't work for me. I need to walk away from it. Do you agree with that?
Mhm.
Yup.
But sometimes it's hard to do, right?
it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people, because you have love for someone or because you love someone, you can't walk away from them. But you gotta love yourself and you gotta walk away. If you don't love yourself, how is you gonna love somebody else? And I think that also ties into like the teen dating violence. Like you have so much love for this person, you love this person so much that you don't want to walk away from them. But it's like, when do you say enough? You put your foot down and say, I gotta put me first. I gotta love me. I gotta make sure that I show myself enough love to not keep going through this. Like,
How can you keep yourself safe?
And you put yourself first.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, y'all. I got
Okay.
another question for y'all.
I have
Oh,
a
you
question.
got a question? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yes, yes. Why do y'all think a lot of young girls stay in these situations? Like, why do you think they stay?
oh,
Either they don't want to hurt the other person's feelings for one,
Or
or
and
they
they
just
crave that attention.
exactly,
Mm.
or they just want to stay in the same cycle over and over because they said sorry, they apologize, I'm gonna be better, lies on top of lies.
I think it also has something to do with parents. Like when you don't
Oh,
have your mom in your life or you don't have your dad, you're craving to fill that void in the person that you're in a relationship with, whether what they do to you, they're filling that void, or at least you are under the impression that they're filling that void. But the whole time they're actually just hurting you way more than you were before. They're breaking you down more than you already were broke. Because instead of pouring into yourself and helping yourself, you poured into them and now your glass is empty.
Right.
and then also to add on to that, I also think that whenever it comes to parents, let's get back into the parents. Um, it's very it's important it is important that the parents teach the child self-love so that they don't come in contact with things where, like, they can be in predicaments where people can manipulate them and get them into doing things that they aren't okay with doing, or like, or getting them to accept things and settle for things whenever they're not okay with settling and accepting these things. So it's very important that you ahead of time you kind of give your child like a guidance, like a form of guidance to the warning signs. But yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So that's all that we have for today in our podcast, Keeping It Real While We Heal. But before we close out, I want everybody to go around and say something that we can leave everybody with. So I'm gonna say, don't pour into a cup and your glass is half full. And what I mean by that is, don't try to pour into somebody else. Don't try to give love to somebody else and you don't even love yourself. How is you pouring out your half full wine or your half full juice box and you barely have enough juice to give the other person? By the time you pour into them, all your juice is gone and you're left with nothing. Not
I'm
enough.
gonna I'm gonna say just watch who you associate yourself with. Everybody ain't good for you.
Mm.
So watching the company you keep. Is that what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, Taylor? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
kind
I
of
think
add To kind of add on to be careful who you associate yourself with, like online. Don't think everybody's your friend. Always like be safe and know who you're talking to on the other line.
To add on to that, people lie all the time about who they are online. Catfishing.
Yes.
It's really big.
That's the catfish.
Have some 40-year-old man say he's some 15-year-old.
Catfishing is literally wolf in sheep's clothing. Those are people. That is literally the online version of wolf in sheep's clothing.
Snakes.
Watch them people.
All right, Tabby, you have some closing words?
Yeah, I would say just don't be afraid to speak up and stand up for yourself. I think a lot of kids or teens try to come up with every reason why they shouldn't speak up about their situation, but we really need to start getting that mindset of I have to protect myself.
I like that, Tab. I like that.
That was good.
Jazz, you got any words?
Yeah, I would say don't let people make you feel like you're worth less than you are. Like, make sure you know your worth. Don't let nobody dim your light.
I like that. I like that.
He likes everything at this point.
Miss Manisha.
So my tip, I have so much in my brain that I would love to just spew out, but we only got a couple seconds. So, but I would say be aware of your surroundings, trust yourself, trust your intuition, know that you believe in yourself, know that you have your best interests at heart. You know you better than anyone else. So if you feel like something is off, then something is off. Trust yourself.
Okay, all right.
All right, I'll say my little closing. So I just would like my message for everybody is to find you a person. Find you a person that you can confide in, that you can trust, that you can talk to. I understand that it's hard trusting people and finding somebody who, will make sure that they have your best interests at heart. But there is somebody for everybody. So find your person and don't be scared to let them know whatever you need, because they're gonna have you.
Good. I think I would say own your space and own your no. Don't be afraid to say no when you're uncomfortable and to own that. And Myra, you want to take us out?
I loved everything everybody said. I feel like a lot of girls can really learn from this, and even adults as well. But this is our podcast, Keeping It Real While We Heal, and we will see y'all next time. Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.